Alright, so for those of you that have seen some of my other videos, you probably know I'm in my master's program and I've been working on a research paper and I'm autistic. So what frustrates me about being autistic and being in school is that educators are not as helpful as they think they are, especially when it comes to communication. So, for example, one of my professors, the professor in my introductory course for my master's program, seems to have expectations that were never made clear. And the problem with that is that I'm autistic. So if you don't tell me that you expect certain things beyond what is actually said in the material, then I'm not going to know, and I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to anticipate that as an expectation. And essentially what she said was that I don't do more work than what is stated on the assignment. Like, I never do more than what the assignment says I have to do. Well, of course not. Now, if there was a need for me to go beyond the number of pages required for me to say what I needed to say out of necessity, then yes, I absolutely would go over the page requirements or whatever. But if I can say what I need to say within the page requirements, no, I'm not going to do more than that. Because here's the thing, and this is not all neurotypical people, but in my experience as an autistic person, there are a lot of neurotypical people out there that y'all just talk a lot. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean that autistic people are very direct. We're very get to the point. We ask questions for clarification purposes only, and we don't normally say more than what is necessary for us to say unless we're nervous. So at that point we'd be rambling and you'd know it. But outside of that, we don't beat around the bush, we don't sugarcoat, we don't do a lot of small talk, we don't add all these extra words in that don't need to be there, and it's common for neurotypical people to do those kinds of things. So oftentimes I can get to my point within the required number of pages. Actually, I could probably do it in less number of pages, but because so many pages are required, yeah, I can fluff my way through it, but would I normally do that? No. The other thing is, she mentioned that my abstract was written in a way that you could tell that I wrote it before my research paper was done. Well, yeah, I did, because that was expected. The abstract was due before the research paper. And in the assignment, it even said, you may not be done with your research paper. Well, obviously not, because that's not due until this Sunday, and it's 10 to 12 pages. So my abstract essentially sounded like my paper wasn't done, because it wasn't. So if you want me to write an abstract that sounds like my paper's done when my paper's not done, and it's obvious that my paper's not done because it's not due yet, I'm confused. And then you come back to me and say, well, I did say that you should be working on a draft. Well, a draft is still not done. Your research paper is still not done based on a draft, even if you do write a draft. So your abstract is not going to sound complete because your paper's not complete. Look, I have a lot of respect for this professor because she's a doctor. She holds a PhD in whatever it is that she majored in. And even though comments may be meant for growth, it doesn't work that way for autistic people. If it's not an expectation, and I'm doing what I need to do, and I don't need to do beyond what was mentioned for me to do, why say anything? Why say anything at all? You can tell me what I did well. You can tell me, what kind of editing marks you might have suggested or what have you, but if you're not going to give me instruction on your abstract needs to be presented in this form or you need to do more than just I don't even have anything for that. Don't make a minimum page requirement if that's the issue. I'm baffled. And I'm supposed to know what's expected of me without knowing what's expected of me because it's not being told to me until I get commentary after the fact. And then I call her out for, hey, you didn't tell me these were expectations, to, well, they're more for demonstration and growth, and this is what I feel needs to be demonstrated more. Okay, but why would I demonstrate more in doing more work than what is required of me? I can't even make this make sense. Somebody, please, make this make sense.